Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue our three-character Chinese expressions unpacking, and mostly our contemporary Chinese expressions. Today, we're going to talk about 话语权. 话语权. As you can see, both of them have the same, the 话 and the 语 have the same component. And one I translate as talk, the other one is about to say. There are nuances of difference. And as a language user, I didn't really give much thought about what is what is 语. To me, they are kind of like a synonyms, both about something about speaking or talking. Like even in English, what's the difference between speaking and talking, right? So didn't really thought much about it until now. I have to face it. I have to see the ancient classical Chinese expressions and try to imagine what's the intention of the language users putting the words this way. They gotta be different in some sense, because otherwise, why create a duplicate of the same thing, right? It's not economical. It's redundancy in language. So okay, let's give it a try. So 话, both 话 and 语 have the speaking symbol on the left side. The speaking symbol is made of the mouse symbol at the very bottom. You can see mouse, 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 4 mouse over there. It's a lot of chapping, chirping over there. And then here, the 2 convex shape connected by vertical line, that's an indicator to, well, that's a kind of abstract indicator to say, okay, we are going from one place to another place. It's the entering symbol. So you can view it almost like a needle trying to puncture through to get into the new space. And then the second convex line would be the indicator to show, okay, that the new space where the needle punctured through, that's where we're talking about. So that paired with the mouse symbol means inside the mouse. The mouse is the place that's we're pointing toward. And this entering symbol means from one place to another place. And then we have this indicator landed on this new place, and that means enter the space. So it's the space entered, so that means inside. Okay, it's a little bit twist. And then 2 horizontal lines on top are sound bites. I regard it as sound bites symbol that's traveling over time and space in a diminishing order. You can see it's kind of narrowing it down, right? That's the energy is dissipating. So that's one way. Another way is to view it as this 2 horizontal line with the convex shape with the vertical line all together is one component. And that one is, I mean, here are the things, like sometimes when Chinese character, they started from different origins, but when they got abstracted into this 2D world, which is Chinese character icons, then they sometimes can converge into looking the same, or just like different ways of unpacking it. If we move the 2 horizontal lines separately and look at the rest of them, inside the mouse means the tongue. We have the mouse, the tongue, and then the sound bites together. It makes sense to mean speaking, right? It has the organs to speak and also the results of speaking. But another way is to have the 2 horizontal lines connected with the convex and the vertical line together. It was said, I never seen, luckily I don't see it. It's an ancient corporal punishment tool. So they're, I guess the more ancient, the more unhumane it could be, to punish people in a really painful way. So there are tons of specialized tools to inflict pain, to torture people in the past. And this is captured in our language. So that's one type of tool. Like, I don't know, I cannot imagine what kind of pain it's going to cause. But that corporal punishment tool then used as a representation of one having power over another. So there is a power structure, like how can you have the authority to punish another human being? And I mean, there in ancient societies, there are all kinds of ways to justify why one has the authority to do so, right? And then that corporal punishment tool then becomes the symbol of this pain-inflicting capacity, one over another. And oftentimes it's one over many, right? That makes the authority because you have the right, almost like you can have the right to make law, to interpret law, to execute the law, to inflict the pain. That's the very end result. So the whole slew of power is behind the symbol. And then we have the bottom, this second convex shape, plus the mouse and overlapping vertical line. That means ancient because we have a 10. This structure is the number 10. And then we have the mouse. So 10 mouse means 10 generations, roughly 200 years. In Chinese mindset, 200 years is old enough to be time honored. If something, some wisdom can transverse time for 10 generations, that means it's time honored. That's classical. And that's kind of confirmed, validated generations by generations, and then still didn't disappear. That means something must reign true. It's kind of time tested. So if there is this power and there is this 10 generation, that means somebody who is in the position to speak and their words got passed down. I mean, all of us speak all we want in our lifetime. Whose words are going to be preserved? Whose words are going to be recorded, cherished, still read 10 generations after, right? So in this interpretation, the speaking symbol gives us this framework of what is actually speaking. Speaking means who is in the position to speak and whose words actually got resonance over generations. Okay, that's a pretty high bar of speaking. Our everyday speaking is just, we speak, it's gone. Probably I'm doing monologue, like if nobody is listening, I'm monologuing. All right, so that's speaking sign, two ways of interpretation. Okay, then the right side, the top side is 是. That means, well, it's related to ancient marital structure, which is, okay, if you're poor in your lifetime, you may not even have the right to mate. Like you may not even get a wife. If you're rich, you may have multiple. And one of them is your wife. The other ones are legalized mistresses. And these women live in the same household. Like you don't need to quote unquote cheat in contemporary term. Like if you want a woman, you get them, you own them, basically. You can pay money to parents or whatever, and then you get a woman into your household and legally have a mistress. So that mistress status is not the official wife, but somebody who is to somehow appeal to the man in another capacity than wife. Okay, this is 是. And the reason why it is 是, probably, I mean, according to some scholars, the reading of this diagonal line is kind of sideways. It's not, the formal, the how to say, if the wife is the middle, right? Is the straight, is the most direct lineage of the man, passing down the wealth, the family name to the wife's children, and then the mistress's children are going to be regarded as the almost like secondary citizen in the household, in a sense. So this then connected with the mouth symbol. So that means mistress is speaking. Okay. And here I have to do some imagination, a little bit of reverse engineering, because later on scholar interpret this icon to mean speaking skillfully. Like if you want to achieve something, you have some purpose, you want to talk somebody into something, right? You have to really choose your words wisely and make a convincing enough argument. And not only like logically it's convincing, but also the words you choose kind of sound nice, right? It's well packaged passage. So that is the definition later on. And I can only fill the blank, the previous, why mistress speaking actually means skillful speaking. I would imagine because mistress doesn't have the political power the same way as the wife does, right? The mistresses, for their survival, for their own benefit, because they have to fight harder for their offspring, for their own right in a household. So whenever they speak, because of they're at disadvantage in comparison to the wife, they have to be really careful of how they speak to the man. Imagine such a world. Gosh, okay. So that's talk. Basically, skillfully speaking. Organize your word in a way that's convincing. Okay, that's talk. 语 I translate as say. So the left side speaking, the right side, the top means 5. Number 5. The reason why it's number 5, it's very moving. I mean, when I first discovered the meaning, the intention, it could be interpreted by scholars later on, but somehow it rang true to me. Okay, 2 horizontal lines. One is heaven, one is earth. Okay, between heaven and earth, that's where it exists, right? There is this cross. And when this cross is positioned in such a way that's kind of straddling over heaven and earth, and then made a cross somewhere in the mid-air, right? So this point, that means it's evenly handed, or it's guaranteed to be the middle point. It's not toward heaven or toward the earth. It's exact midpoint. That's how midpoint was, I guess, geometrically created. Yeah, because you randomly place your pen between 2 lines, it's hard to pin down the midpoint between heaven and earth. But if you draw such a cross in between, and also, of course, in the condition of this is the same length of this, the 2 lengths got to be the same. You cannot, like, obviously this point will move if you have an even, right? So a little bit geometry. So you have to make sure top and down they're the same equal lengths, and then this is guaranteed to be the midpoint. And the midpoint, that's Chinese number 5. So I guess Chinese starts with this digital, not digital, like 10-digit system early on. So therefore, midpoint is the number 5. Okay, number 5 plus mouth symbol in ancient Chinese, that means me means referral, I. There are several, there are multiple ways in this language to self-refer. Like we can point to the middle of the nose as me. We can create a rope shape to say rope shape to mean self. And now we have this midpoint, number 5. 5 and a mouse as me. Amazing how this I guess in one day I'm going to collect all the Chinese me referrals together, because that's almost like a culturally self-awareness showing in each of the creation of self-referral. And this me, my understanding is it pronounced as a wu, and it's no longer using contemporary Chinese that much to mean me, because in the contemporary Chinese, we often use 我. If you learn a little bit Chinese, you must come across 我. That's the contemporary Chinese expression of I, right? But if it's ancient, a lot of times it's 我. And this number 5 plus mouse, okay, mouse probably just signifies somebody who ever have a voice, ever existed, can eat, at least eat and speaking, double functions of the mouse, right? So oftentimes Chinese use mouse to kind of deduce a person to just a mouse function. Okay, so that's like a human, okay, who can speak and eat, consumer and producer, okay, in 2 roles. And then the number 5 means it's kind of balanced. Number 5 is the middle finger, middle number, and then it's the because Chinese pursue balance of things. You don't want to overweigh or underweigh something in any regard. So midpoint is kind of the Goldilocks, right? It's the perfect position to be. So that's a kind of expectation or ideal of how I expect I or me to behave through life, is to stepping on that midpoint all the time. Okay, so me plus speaking, that means it's my words, because language is a common property. It's a common creative in a way, right? It's everybody share that. It's public domain. But if you want to make that language or that speaking to be mine, it got to be having your own flavor, your own style, your own intention and expressions to it. So that's Chinese way to say. That means you're speaking. Okay, that's lengthy enough. Okay, 全 on the left side is the word symbol, simply the canopy of the tree, the root of the tree connected by the trunk. Okay, the right side is a side view of the bird. Well, the right side in total means water bird. It means the bird, kind of like a heron. Okay, so this is the bird symbol, and then this looks to me like dry meat symbol or a lamb symbol, because it has this lamb, iconic lamb horns that's pretty prevalent in Chinese renderings. But by itself, it's the horn, but when it has the 2 little bit slanted lines next to it, sometimes it means dried meat. And then we have 2 mouses over there. So we have to imagine a little why. The bird means the species of the animal is a sort of bird. And then the top side is dry meat or lamb symbol plus 2 mouses that make it a water bird. I would imagine that probably depicting water bird feeding activity. They stand on water and they keep like pecking into the water to catch little, food bits for them, right? And that mouse symbol probably means eating, quickly eating. And the dry meat can mean, food for the bird. So that could be a way to interpret why this icon in total means water bird. So water bird plus word symbol somehow becomes right. There is a long logic extension over there. At the beginning, one of the beginning meanings of this word is to pick up, picking something up. That's understandable, right? Because it's water bird. It is constantly picking up little food bits from water. And in that sense, I'm not sure what the tree symbol over here means. The tree symbol plus the water bird actually is a combination to make it into a particular kind of a tree. Maybe that tree have a certain feature that's shared with the water bird, and therefore the two combined to mean this particular kind of a tree that's said to have yellow flowers or whatever. I'm not a tree person, so I don't exactly know what special type of tree that is. So from that tree, then it means to pick up. It's an action. And eventually it means it has in contemporary, it means somebody has the right to do something because that person can, okay, 权 in another sense means weight, means your own valuation of things. Okay, say today you're going to have 10 things you want to do, but not everything is equally important to you. So this not equally important, the different values you attribute to each thing, that is 权. That in mathematical terms, it's a coefficient, like how you weigh something, what value you're going to time it with, right? So that's 权. Actually, in machine learning, this is one major thing. The whole thing about how machine learning operates is to figure out the parameters, which is another way to say 权. It's how much weight you attribute different pathways of decision making. So, okay, this 权 then placing different weight on different things, right? It's a mathematical way to express your value system, what you value, and eventually it extends to right. I think that's a more logical connection over there, because you're valuing something. That means you have the right to something. That's more connectable. But how from this yellow flower tree to mean pick up, and from pick up it means different weight or value you place on different things. It's a little bit stretch. I guess from pick up, you can extend somewhat into this valuation system, like subconscious a lot of times, valuation system of yours. Because if you're picking up something and you choose not to pick up something, right? So it's kind of a cherry picking. Like say, so much food in the water, in the perspective of a water bird, which one the water bird at any given time to go after, right? That's a decision making, like quick, short decision making. Maybe not that significant. Maybe they don't matter that much. But if you're constantly doing this, if you're picking, not the best food all the time, so overall in net, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So you want to every movement count and pick the best food in your operation domain, the best one, right? So that's how you place the correct weight on things. For a water bird, transfer to human behavior, saying like we have so many choices what to do at this exact moment, then how we end up making that decision, that matters over time, right? So that's the valuation system. And then eventually that extends to a particular kind of valuation that means something that is important to us, and therefore we will regard it as a right. Okay, so 话语权 altogether means somebody have a voice, somebody have a say in something in any respect. I put a picture of their public speaking is a great way to have a voice, only that I don't have the guts to do that, or I feel like I probably don't have much worthy to be heard. But it's probably not true, because all of us have our unique path, right? We probably have we definitely have something to say, and maybe some of them are valuable to people. So that's what 话语权 is. Cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day. We will see you another day.